Do you like money? If so, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show with your hosts Ryan Gerdes, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Real Estate 401k Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
When we think of foreclosure, we think of the Great Recession back, 2006, 2008, somewhere right around there, where we started seeing that massive influx of short sales and foreclosures, and what was happening then versus what's happening now, and so there's a couple of different ways that they go about foreclosure. So obviously, foreclosure occurs if you've got a mortgage and you haven't been making your payment. Then the bank says, okay, you haven't been making your payment. You have 90 days to make good on this thing, or else we're going to send it to auction. Sometimes they'll send it to auction, sometimes they won't, right? Back then, and more often than not now, everything is going to auction. Sometimes if there's like a secondary note carrier or something like that, they'll go over there and buy out the first just to make sure that they don't get screwed. But for the most part, everything is going to auction. Whereas back before in 2006, 2008, these banks would literally just take them over and then hold on to, we called it shadow inventory, because they didn't want to flood the market, because they were dealing with tens of thousands of foreclosures almost, in any given quarter. And so they knew that with an already declined market back then, that if they were to throw another 10,000 on the market, that would just further weaken what was happening there. So a lot of times you'd see banks that would say, hey, you know what? I'd rather just not even foreclose on them, just put them on notice, and then just kind of let it ride for a couple of years. How many friends did you have, or how many people did you know that said, I haven't made a payment on my home in 2 years, and the bank still hasn't come knocking on my door for it? That happened all the time back then. Now that's not happening. If you're not making your payment, they're pretty darn quick in order to get you served. Now, there's still strategies. If you're one of those people that are suffering from not being able to make a payment, as always, we have a lot of different resources and knowledge and experience to help you avoid foreclosure and stay in your home, or to do something that isn't going to be as impactful on your credit. But all that being said, we have seen a significant uptick in foreclosures since 2020. We're not near the numbers that we were in 2006, 2008, so I don't want to send that message. But right now, within the next 90 days, we have about 1,400 slated for a trustee sale, aka foreclosure. Now, a lot of these are either seconds or maybe even thirds, or maybe even construction loans, or kind of like these little one-off situations. What we're primarily looking for is primary loans, or loans that are in first position. And based on the data that we have available to us, I mean, it's extremely manual to rummage through that. So I don't have numbers on that for you.
And I think it's a great point, because I mean, in full disclosure, everybody, if you know where to go, has access to that information. It's all public knowledge.
Sure.
But it's, what do you do with that knowledge, and what do you do with that information? Because there is so many details to this. And again, you may think, oh my gosh, like we went to the auction and there was one $50,000, and we're all looking at each other, and you knew it was too good to be true.
And nobody's raising their hand to bid on it. Yeah, and it's like, okay, the reason is because that's a loan in second position, and they didn't want to go through they knew that the first position loan was going to be in a position that was going to make it very, very difficult for them to see any equity or return on investment by purchasing that second one. So I don't really want to go too deep into all the specifics on it. What the moral of the story is, I do want to encourage you to reach out to us if buying a foreclosure or investing in a foreclosure is something that you've considered, because we've been seeing a lot of success on it. It can be competitive. If you have an investment model that says, hey, I want to go spend $100,000 on a home, put $50,000 into it, and turn around and sell it for $1 million, don't pick up the phone. that model is still not going to work over there. Those are, and I'll be honest with you, if I run into that deal, I'm buying it.
Right.
But there is beginning to be more and more opportunity over there. And I'd be happy to walk you through what that looks like and kind of what the target market is to really look for on that. Because we have all the procedures and all the resources in order to do the homework before you even step foot on that auction block already put in place.
All right. Well, if you'd like some information, you'd like to have that discussion about foreclosures and getting into the foreclosure market, or if you are facing foreclosure, and that's more important to me because we want to help people, and if you're looking to explore your options and maybe how do you keep your house, how do you avoid foreclosure or other options, we'd love to have that conversation with you as well. All you got to do is text the word foreclosure to 623-AZ-RECON. That's foreclosure to 623-AZ-RECON.
You want to hear a little fun fact?
Sure.
Kevin Spacey just got foreclosed on.
No way.
Yeah, and I think he was in Chicago or something like that. And so someone went to the auction, bought it, and he said, "Screw you! I'm not getting out until you give me $100,000 cash or something ridiculous."
He's in that position right now.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up another good point. It's what state are you operating out of? I mean, California, it's just about impossible to get somebody out of the house, even if they've been foreclosed on. You know, out here, it's a lot quicker process here in Arizona than it is a lot of other states. And I think that's another important thing you have to, take notice of, because if it's going to take you 2 years.
And I think that there's some things that if you are a tenant living in a home, and you see a notice of trustee sale taped to your front door or to your front window when you walk up, then you don't always necessarily have that lease to save you. So, that being said, if the owner has been given a notice of trustee sale and then has you sign a lease, that could be a lease that is voidable. Now, everything can be, there's a lot of people that commit fraud and post-date things, etc. So there's you probably still have a leg to stand on, because most leases do survive foreclosure. But if a landlord goes over there and signs a 5-year lease to you and then stops making the payments on it, do not expect that you're going to be able to lease that house for the entirety if it gets foreclosed on in the first 6 months of your lease.
Or get your earnest money back, or
security deposit.
Security deposit, I meant, yeah.
Right. But more often than not, most of these investors that are buying foreclosures, they're giving you cash for keys. And it would behoove you to cooperate, because 9 out of 10 times the landlord knew something was up. The landlord, whoever's holding the note, knows that they need to make a payment on the first of every month. They signed that note, long in advance of your lease, and they know whether or not they're making their payments. And so there could be recourse on the landlord, but good luck getting blood out of a stone, right? Mm-hmm. So it ends up, we could start seeing more legal battles, because I think that it was not nearly as prominent back in the Great Recession for investors to rent out to tenants as it is now. I think that there's more investment properties now than there have ever been. And so if you're in a position where you're noticing that the landlord's not making their payment, then you need to start opening up lines with your landlord and figuring out what that looks like for your specific situation, when and if that property gets foreclosed on.
Yeah, and if you're in that situation, just text Justin to 63-AZ-RECON, because Justin's got a couple rentals he's looking to fill.
I do. Great idea, Mike.
I'm a giver, man.
So it's been there's been a lot of differences in the fabric of the auction environment now than it was before. And it's funny, because before you saw 20, 30 people at the auction house and whatnot over there kind of raising their hand, for bidding and whatnot. There's not as many people there, but there's a lot more conglomerates that are over there representing a lot of people. So while it may only look like there's 5 or 6 people there, they're really representing possibly thousands of investors.
I don't know, Justin, I don't know how much you did, because you're not a real estate agent. You're on the lending side. So I don't know, like during those days, during the recession in 2007, 2009, how much opportunity you had to go take a look at homes. But
I did.
What was the crazy? I mean, I saw some crazy stuff.
So did I.
When the person who got foreclosed on exited the house, I saw him take some stuff. It's just crazy. And then some people were just mad and vandalized the home. But I remember at one house we went and took a look at, and they just took the entire kitchen island. Just, I don't know what they were going to do with it.
Yeah.
And maybe put it in their new garage. I don't know.
I saw this beautiful 4,200 square foot house. It was over about 67th Avenue, just north of Pinnacle Peak. No, north of Deer Valley. Basement home. They ripped all the cabinets out of the kitchen.
Saw that.
The island's gone. All the appliances.
I've seen them
holes
take
in the walls.
carpet.
Yeah, I mean, my place, my place that my mother-in-law lives in, there was concrete in the toilet.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
where they
and it
were
was
dumping
deep too.
concrete down
I had
the
to
sewer lines.
Yeah, I did that all myself. I jackhammered it out, and it was in the sewer line.
Hopefully, it wasn't post-tension slab.
No. Thank God it wasn't, because I was going after it.
No way.
Some people learn that the hard way.
There was dog shit all over the floors. The front door was busted. Like you couldn't even shut basically it was just shut. You could have pushed it open. There was no locks on it or anything. It was.
And then sometimes it looked like a ghost town with tumbleweeds. Everybody's,
Yeah.
because you knew which house was foreclosed on just driving down the street, because no one was taking care of the weeds.
Speaking of that, so that house that I bought that my mother-in-law lives in, the moment I closed on it, the house is trashed, right? I get an HOA notice, like the second day, that said I didn't have a tree in my front yard. And I'm like, I'm trying to fix the house right now, guys. I didn't have a tree. I was going to get a fine for not having a tree.
Next week, let's talk HOAs.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's a good one.
I have a finance question for you.
Yeah.
And maybe you know off the top of your head, maybe you don't. So I buy a foreclosure, and I've closed on it, and it's a foreclosure that I want to keep, because most foreclosures right now are they're being slated for investors who are looking to flip. But occasionally you'll have an investor that buys one, wants to keep it. So they go over there, they pay cash for it, or they get hard money for it, but they want to refinance it and put it into a more long-term loan.
Yeah.
How much time does it take for them to refinance over?
If there's no cash out, immediate. And honestly, if you paid cash for the house, that's okay. It's you're replenishing assets that you used. We can do it immediately. So this is very common, because most auctions require cash within 3 days of the auction. So people will pay cash.
Actually, 24 hours.
Yeah, okay, that's different. Last one I did was 3 days.
Can you get me a loan in 24 hours? Can we fund and record?
No.
Fill out a loan app today, and I need
2008, yes. Today, no.
Just hoping.
Well, so HUD will let you have a few days, but if it's a regular, typical auction, they generally want 24 hours.
Yeah, so it's just a no cash out refinance. We just replenish. We have to show where the funds came from. We have to show that there's no liens on the property. If there's a lien on the property, that's okay. Hard money loan, no problem. We'll just pay that off.
Okay. Well, so mechanic liens allow up to 90 days, right?
Mechanic liens.
Or 30 days, sorry.
To pay those off?
Someone has within 30 days to say, hey, look, I put a new roof on that, and file a mechanic lien.
So with us, if we're paying off a mechanic lien,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so,
if we're paying off a mechanic lien, basically you have to be on title for 6 months. It's continuity of interest, where that's considered cash out. So 6 months conventional, 12 months FHA.
Okay. What if they haven't filed and they've already refinanced?
They haven't filed the mechanical lien? Mm-hmm. Well, that's on the owner of the property.
But they got foreclosed on.
Ooh. Well, I would say that's a title issue.
Okay.
Because you pay title insurance.
I like that. When Justin doesn't know the answer to the question, he just puts it on title.
He's like, well, what would you do?
We should have Bianca as our fourth host.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, you pay title insurance to ensure that there's no other liens on the property when you close on it. So I wouldn't be paying that mechanics lien if I bought a house and they put it on 30 days after. I'm a different owner.
I'm bringing this up because one of the biggest questions we get about it has to do with solar. And solar, I mean, they've been able to do a lot of things that survive foreclosure, depending on the type of loan or lease that they've put on it. So I'm just wondering if you guys have run into any headbutts with any of these.
Solar's always been
companies.
A pain in the ass, you know.
Like,
I mean, we've got down the transfers pretty good, the lease transfers, all that stuff. But man, solar's just one of those pain in the butts where you want to be confident about your answers, but there's so many different structures of solar financing that it's hard to be upfront, you know, until you get into the nitty gritty of their contracts and talking to them themselves, because there's so many small credit unions that are financing them, and they all have different credit union rules. And a lot of times we're teaching these credit unions how to operate in order to get this to work for them. Mm-hmm. They don't even know. That's a. The way I feel, it doesn't. No, it just doesn't sound. It doesn't sound. Yeah, it doesn't sound. It shouldn't be that way, right? It's a foreclosure.
Right.
Everything should be. Here's your foreclosure. You bought it from us. Mm-hmm. We verified everything before we're selling it.
It should be black and white.
It should be black and white.
But it's just.
It's just not.
All righty, if you would love to have a conversation and build some strategies around navigating the foreclosure opportunities, or you or a loved one is facing foreclosure, we have options for you. We just encourage you to text the word foreclosure to 623-AZ-RECON. That's foreclosure to 623-AZ-RECON.